Welcome to Tom Papa's Come to Papa.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Come to Papa, your favorite podcast among all the other podcasts. Here we are, another Tuesday in a new year. Same things happening. Paul cracks open a Diet Coke. Bella looking for attention, licking his knees. I staring at the podcast equipment, befuddled, not sure what's happening.
Hoping it's recording.
It's all good. Good to see everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Before we get started on another wonderful show with our wonderful friends, we have a little housekeeping. Go to tompapa.com because we're going out on tour. Heading off to Comics in Mohegan Sun. Added a second show in Annapolis at Ram's Head. Alexandria, live from here. I'm going to do a lot of those dates. First one this week in Kansas City, where we performed.
Nice, yeah.
Not too long ago.
Cool.
I'm returning for live from here, and then we've got a bunch of those dates coming up. The live Come to Papa next Tuesday on the 15th. Not sure where I'm coming home after Kansas City or not. So we're out there. It's all starting up. We're running around town. We're doing all our stuff. So check the websites and come out and see us.
Yeah, we just sold some tickets this morning to the Birchmere in Alexandria, which is basically D.C. That's Friday the 26th or 25th. And then Annapolis is Ram's Head on Stage.
Yes.
You sold out the 7:30 show.
Yes.
Their only choice was to add a 5 p.m. show.
Yes.
So we've got some people coming to that because that seems like a good. You would think that maybe that'd be a little too early, but I think Saturday people like to get stuff done.
They called me during the break and asked, we want to add a show? And they said 5 o'clock, and it sounded weird to me. And they said, we've done it before. People like coming out. It's dark out. I wouldn't do it in the summer. We're going to be there anyway. We might as well do another show.
Yeah, so people were on board. They're like, 5 is good. We don't have to pay the babysitter late. So.
Yeah, so it should be great. Very excited to get out there. This is all ramping up before we record all of this stuff and put it to bed. Very good reaction last week when we were talking about creative stuff with the scripts. People were giving suggestions on how to get out of the writing kerfuffle. A couple of the ideas inspired me. Not sure if I'm there yet, but that was fun. So I want to throw this out to our dear listeners. Let's see what they think. You know that we love baking bread on this podcast. We've done a couple from the kitchen. Mm-hmm. You know that bread and love of all bread products and baked goods is a big part of our TV and radio life and everyday life. And it's something we enjoy and like sharing with people. I am toying around with the idea of changing the name of this podcast to Breaking Bread with Tom Papa. Right. And I think that it would be more appropriate. I would like to bring in some other people and let them share with us. We're always breaking bread with our listeners is the real idea. And I just feel like we should have bread as part of our experience, and everybody enjoys it, and we have so much online activity about it. And, you know, you and I have talked about it as a thing. I'm just going to float it out there. Mm-hmm. You know, Come to Papa is still a show on Sirius XM. We still do those live shows and stuff. But for the podcast, without changing our audience or anything, I think it might be time.
Okay. Let's just do it before the T-shirts get here.
Are there T-shirts on their way?
We're Tom Papa World Champions 2000. You know how they make those Super Bowl World Champs?
Did you watch the college championship last night?
Yeah.
What a game. Well, that kid was incredible.
Yeah, that was a
19-year-old quarterback. He was in high school.
Crazy.
Last June. That's less than a year.
Mm-hmm.
He was in high school.
And tore him up.
And just played like Joe Montana.
Yeah, I'm not saying that... well, you were a football player, Tom.
Yes, I was.
You were probably
my whole life, from kindergarten through 12th grade, every fall, I was putting on a helmet and running around on a field.
How crazy is it that I'm sure... Because it was the same thing in basketball. The offenses were very conservative. Your high school probably handed it off 4 times in a row, every down.
Yeah, because no one could catch.
Same thing with Alabama. Like that was, the whole history of just, getting 400-pound guys to just plow everyone over. And then last night to see these guys airing it out, it's a different game now.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
Completely different. But Clemson was pretty well-rounded, too. I mean, that guy, what's this, Tien? The
running back, yeah.
Oh, man, I mean, they're just a great, well-rounded team. It was just so, rooting against Alabama is like rooting against the Yankees, I guess, for most people.
Right.
You just love to see them take it because they win all the time.
And the coach is such a baby all the time.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. It was so nice to see Alabama go down. And if you're an Alabama fan, I'm sure you hear that all the time because this is us with Yankees. But the most impressive thing to me was just this 19-year-old kid. I was like, well, he was in high school last year. I'm like, wait, but last year was like June. That means he graduated in June. And now in January, he's winning the Super Bowl of college football.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Is like he's throwing it wherever he wants. He's running it. He's running the ball through the line anytime he wants.
Funny. Whenever he would run, you cringe because you're like, it's the quarterback and he's getting hit. Yeah. And then he pops up and you're like, oh, yeah, but he's 19.
Yeah.
He's made of rubber bands. And like if you and I took one of those shots, I'm still recovering from my jogging twisted ankle, 3 weeks later. It's just, you're just so youthful and bendy and ready to go.
Yeah. Am I off on that? Or is that what, I feel like all those, even the college offenses were very like run oriented. Remember like the wishbone, people just stopped using that like not too long ago.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know what the stats would be. I mean, I think it depends on the quarterback, but always there's a lot more balance than in the NFL.
Right.
Running and passing. But I think that this kid is like, he'll play 1 or 2 more years, I guess. I guess he has to play.
Yeah. That's kind of silly too, but
like he can't just leave and go to the pros.
Right.
But man, he could. His head is just balanced and his physical.
Yeah, I think it mostly depends on like who would take you. Like I don't know who's got the first pick, but I mean that would go into my thinking whether I get shipped off to Buffalo or the Jets or something.
It sounded like from the way they were talking that he has to come back.
Yeah,
for like 1 or 2 years. I'm not sure.
I think football is 2.
Yeah.
I think you have to be out of high school for 2 years. So he could play in, like, Canada next year or something, but he couldn't play in the NFL.
Right.
That's a silly thing.
And basketball, you can go right after grade school.
I think they've been changing it back and forth. I think it's 1 year.
What if you don't go to college?
That's what a couple people have gone to China and played professionally. Like Lonzo Ball's little brothers went to China, or Lithuania, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's just like 1 year out. That's why everyone thinks it's so stupid.
Right.
That's like why force these kids to like leave the country or possibly get hurt.
Why do you think more people do drugs when they're younger and have the energy and the and the ability to just do everything, and then when people are our age, they don't do, when you need more energy, and you need 12 cups of coffee to get through a day. Like, why aren't we on cocaine all the time?
Because you don't know what you need. Like, you didn't know
when you're a kid.
Yeah, you didn't know what a hangover was. You didn't know what you were just like run through.
You're not doing it for medicinal purposes. Like, we now, if we were to do cocaine, it would be like taking a multivitamin.
Yeah. Well, like we were just talking about this the other day about like going to class. Like, remember college was like one class a day. Now you're looking at as like, how could I have ever missed a class? And then like these 20-year-olds spend their whole day coming up with excuses to not go to a class.
Yeah.
And
because you have so many other things you want to do.
Yeah, well, it's just, somebody telling you what to do. Yeah, you just don't want to do it.
Yeah, you're like, wait, I don't have my parents around anymore.
Like your wife, I'm sure, is getting great grades because half of the students don't show up, right? Like,
yeah, no, they know when they go that like half the class won't be there by the third week.
Right. Or they have some excuse and then they try to make it up. Like imagine.
We should deal drugs to middle-aged people. I think that should be our side thing. Breaking Bread will be the name of the podcast, and no, maybe we'll change it. Maybe it'll be We've Got Drugs. The We've Got Drugs podcast. Your daily dose.
I don't know. Like, I feel like we get to see the country, and like you see these people that they're working crazy hours during the week, and then they come out to our show, and that's their time to like not go crazy, but like they'll have 3 or 4 drinks or whatever, and they don't. Yeah, and they're like, I'll pay for it tomorrow because I want to have a good time tonight. Like, there's still that attitude a little bit.
Last night when I was watching the game, it was, I have a real hard time dusting off the holidays. I have a real, our tree is still up because our daughters just refused to let me take it down. And it's just, I always have a hard time. I do have post-holiday depression when it's over and it's all kind of done and you've just trained yourself into sitting by the fire, reading a book, having a cocktail, just being around the family. It's always hard for me to like snap out of it and get back to my life.
Yeah.
And so last night I was like, so it's done though. I did a show at Largo the other night with
Yes, I was waiting for this story.
Oh yeah, with your pal Jeff Tweedy.
It's all over the place.
I'll come back. I'll come back to it. But that was my first big show. I love Tweedy and Wilco and got to perform with them at Largo. And so I was like, when I drove there and got out of the car, I was like, all right, the holidays are over.
Yeah.
And but then I came home, and then my kids didn't go back to school till today.
That's crazy.
So they had yesterday off. They had Monday off for some reason. And they have Monday off. I did the show with Tweedy. I've got writing and stuff to do, but I'm still around the house. The tree's still up. And then I remember this game is on.
Right.
So I crack open a bottle of wine, and I'm like, all right, we've got one more day of holiday. Let's just... I was cooking for the family. Everyone was doing their homework begrudgingly because they had to go back to school. And I crack open a thing. I probably had 3 glasses of wine throughout the night. And, I didn't want to drink martinis or anything like that. I just wanted to just relax. Nothing big, but I'm still in a little bit of a celebratory mood. And I woke up this morning at 7 o'clock because we're back to kids time. I've been getting up at probably 8 all break, and way before everybody else. But 7 was like, okay, now we're back into like we're having to wake up. And after 3 glasses of wine the night before, I was like, oh boy, I am really paying for it.
Yeah.
Not real hungover, but just, you've got a big thing of cheesecloth over your brain and you're kind of having to dust off.
No, it takes its toll, man.
It totally does.
I forget what friend of mine said. They were talking about like having like a beer after the show.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's hard enough to get up in the morning. Which kind of sums it up.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, it's such a, it really is. And especially when I've got like work to do and I know I have a lot of writing to do and stuff like that, it's like, anything you do the night before is going to affect that work in the morning.
Yeah.
And, but the other side of it, and we've talked about this endless debate, and we will until the end of our days. The other thing is you drink like that all the time, and you build up a tolerance, and then your mornings aren't so rough.
Or do you? Or do you just die at 50?
I don't know. Yeah, good point.
Because I see the people that try to do it, and they get up early to make a point of, this isn't slowing me down. Until you see the bags under their eyes. Like, we watched the Golden Globes, too. Did you see that? And you kind of get to see all the people that you think of, like all the famous people. And they're like, wow, these guys are showing their age a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Some are trying to hang on. And it's like, oh, some people are still partying. Some people are still doing it.
It does take a toll. I mean, you've got to be smart about it. And, like, you have the ability to go rage and stuff when you're young, and as long as you don't run into serious troubles, you're good.
I will say this,
but then
though,
physically and mentally, though,
the weed guys always win.
When you're older, the weed guys always win.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges, the dude.
Yeah, but
he's like 90 now. Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
those guys all look better than anyone their age.
Well, I wouldn't say they look better. They all look horrible.
Well, they always looked horrible.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We're not starting from Robert Redford levels here.
No, you're right. They all look terrible, but they are stress free.
That's what I'm trying to explain.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. So we could try that. We could just start getting high all the time. But the problem is, we're in a different kind of a business than those guys.
That's actor's life.
That's an actor's life. Willie's got all of he's a music life. He's
on the bus.
People just driving him and pushing him on stage, and here you go. I guarantee none of those guys are hooking up their podcast equipment and making sure that they get it done by Tuesday for their listeners. And we have a little too much responsibility. You have to have kicked ass enough when you were young to not have to worry about much responsibility at this point. We've got too much going on. Not that we can't get there. The kids will leave eventually. Things will settle in, and then high all the time.
But you have the structure of family and normal life. I would say most comedians, a lot of them don't have that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm definitely on the side of more productive.
Yes.
And so I will just work on something for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Because I can do that. A lot of people will just sit and wait until the show happens.
Yeah, just roll out.
Like the cool thing was today, I cleaned up yesterday, and I came up with like a bit like at 4 a.m.
Right.
And just got up and started writing it down and saying it out loud. And I always think when people are asking me like, how do you come up with stuff, or what's it like being a comedian? It's like, it's 4 a.m. on a Tuesday, and you came up with something that might not make any sense in about 4 hours.
My problem, and this is why I won't be a drug addict, is, and as much as it's appealing to be Willie Nelson, who doesn't want to be Willie Nelson? I'd love to be Willie Nelson.
Now, I mean, he had his, those guys are always taxes, and he had some stressful days,
Yeah, for sure. And my problem is it makes me moody. It's not while you're doing it. It's not when you're using it to create. It's just when I'm the day after, the next day, it changes my mood. Mm-hmm. There's something chemically about Tom Papa and marijuana that when it mixes together, the days after, I'm always a little down. I'm always a little. Meh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that, I'd be up for it. I'm a grown up. It's legal in our state. It's been deemed no more dangerous than cranking up your martinis and stuff. But I just don't. Life is about energy. You need energy to rock through all this. You really do. You have to. It's why we exercise. That's why we were talking about like taking cocaine for the middle-aged people. You need energy. When you have energy when you're young, you got it. When you need it later on, you got to manufacture it through other means, exercise, whatever. I don't need anything that's going to pull me in the other direction. Mm-hmm. And the problem with weed is it pulls me in that other direction. It makes me a little like pensive and.
Well, it's good that you realize that because a lot of people don't. Like I
they
can
just
tell
think that that's what they are.
Like you probably observe that about other people, and they probably don't even know that. You know what I mean? Like you shows with somebody, and they were drinking all night or smoking all night.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Is that we are all completely different. There are zillions of us out there, and everyone is completely, completely different. That can of Diet Coke does something to you that is different than if I have it.
Yeah.
Like, I can look at the Diet Coke and judge you for drinking Diet Coke not because of you. I know nothing about what's going off in your brain, but because of me. I know what it makes me feel like, right? I know what drinking makes me feel like. I know what eating sugar makes me feel like. And then you judge other people, and you're like, well, you shouldn't do that. Well, you don't know anything about these people. Everybody is their own little science chemistry set. And whatever you put in it is totally unique. Well, so I had friends that could smoke weed. Willie Nelson, I'm for some reason it works great for him. Yeah. And maybe he has a lot of responsibility. Maybe he is doing a bunch of stuff, but because his chemistry set is cool with that.
But I think that's a lot of trial and error. He was a bad drinker, self-admittedly.
Yeah.
And the weed thing was the thing that kind of at least kept him, you could say it kept him out of trouble. He got arrested a bunch of times for it. So I don't know how relaxed you can be if you know you're going to get arrested.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool now. You can tell those guys are still like, wow, I can't believe it's legal. Yeah. Like, this is a fight that I've had my whole life.
I guess the other part is looking at life and thinking, well, it's at a certain point you're like, this is all just so stupid. I might as well be high during all of this.
Well, here's what I will say about that: is I like to be, especially if you're doing something cool, I like to be in my own head, which makes me, like when you did Letterman or you did your specials, like you want to be in your own head and be tip top, right?
Right.
And most people, they're nervous or they use that as like an excuse to drink or to get high or to, you know what I mean? Like I think that's the difference, is that I realize like, oh, so maybe that's just nerves. I don't know.
Yeah, it's trying to escape the reality of whatever you're having to deal with.
But if you're not having fun doing comedy, what are you having fun doing, Like, that's
but there is a lot of anxiety to it.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's not, but it's just I realize, like, oh, do I enjoy doing this? Or if this is making me nervous and making me drink or making me do destructive things, then I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yes. No, I get that completely. But there's definitely, like, there's certain people that just going, even though they're performers, going in front of live audiences just, wrecks them.
Do you think that's a real thing? Or do you...
Yeah.
Is that an excuse?
No, because I've seen people that do it, that don't replace it with drugs, but still have to wrestle with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think and they're great performers. Bob Dylan is legendary for having, years of not being able to deal.
Stage fright. That's the song.
Yeah. The stage fright.
But I know, star basketball players, like professional level basketball players that throw up before every game.
Yeah.
Still. It's like a nerve thing.
I throw up after every joke. Nobody sees it. I just swallow it.
I think it's just when you're worried about doing bad jokes.
Yeah, that's true too.
So
Sorry
you
for
just-
the burp, but I had olive bread. I made incredible olive bread.
Oh, that was the other thing I was going to ask you about.
Yes.
Is I thought the big announcement was the switch from bread to pretzels.
Oh, no. I just had some leftover starter. My daughter wanted to make pretzels. And we decided, well, we'll make them before the break is over. We're going to make some pretzels, sourdough pretzels.
Yeah, check out Tom's Instagram. He has the pretzels
Nelly.
on there.
Those are really good.
Got a big reaction.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter how they taste. They weren't even cooked yet. People just knew. They knew you were making pretzels.
Yeah, well, it's exciting. Pretzels are good. I mean, yeah. And you put them in this little baking soda and water bath at the end. Both sides. That's what gives it that pretzel-y little coating on the outside.
Yeah.
And then you bake it. Doesn't take that long. They have to proof for an hour after you put them in pretzel shape.
Yeah.
So it probably takes a couple hours all in. But oh man, they're worth it. They just taste great. They're warm. They only last like a day. They start to get hard after that. But they don't even last. Everybody just was walking through the kitchen and snagging them.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And then I made a lot of bread this season and gave away a lot to neighbors and what have you. And I was like, I haven't made anything but this straight bread, so I made olive bread the other day. Ooh, boy. Sometimes you nail it. Sometimes you just nail it. Green olive, Kalamata olive, lemon zest, herbs de Provence, and walnuts. Holy Toledo.
I will say walnuts. I'm not with you on the olive thing. It's not something that
I know. I
to
thought
me.
about you because I'm like, well, I got 2 giant loaves, and my kids don't really go crazy for the olive. They're kind of into it, but I have an extra one. I'm like, Paul's not going to take it. He's not an olive guy.
I will say walnuts. I think the what is that? Is it an Asian thing that they put walnuts in a lot of stuff? Chinese food?
Yeah, I don't know.
I had like
A lot of
a
baked goods.
crispy walnut shrimp or something like that.
Right.
It feels like a Chinese dish or something.
Very good for you, walnuts.
I haven't seen that anywhere else. It was great.
Walnuts are good. Look at you eating nuts.
Who knew it went on shrimp though? It's not like a natural like. When you go to like a burger place and they have like a peanut butter hamburger and you're like, there's no way.
But and then it becomes amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's your exercise been?
Well, here's the thing. I
Quit exercise.
preparing. No, I'm preparing for a little medical procedure. So I am. I've scaled down. I have to like not eat for a day or two.
Oh, you're getting a colonoscopy?
Well, yeah. I wasn't gonna say tummy tuck or anything, but
I have to go for one of those soon. Also,
so it's been like a full week of. I will say that like that's something I'm anxious about.
having a camera go up your butt.
But it's more. Well, there's also all these rules that you have to, like what you can eat, what you can't, nothing with dye, and then you drink this like nuclear stuff. That's what I have to do all day tomorrow, I think.
So you go on Wednesday?
Thursday.
You go on Thursday.
So that kind of like shoots the next 3 days. And I will say like I just thought about it because I haven't drank Diet Coke at all because I knew I wasn't going to be able to drink it. And so I was like, this is probably the only one I'll have today. I've been drinking a lot of like ginger ale and stuff like that because it's got to be all clear diet. And I was like, this will actually be good for me because you think about what you're eating and what you're drinking and
for
all
2
that kind
days.
of stuff.
That's what my friend was just talking about it, that he just went and he said, all of this cleansing stuff and all, because it's really for people that are eating like hamburgers every day.
Yeah.
Like if you don't eat that stuff and you eat pretty clear to begin with, it's not that big of a thing. It's if you've got years of chop meat stored up inside you that it becomes a bit of a problem.
But it is like not mental, but like just to shake everything up and like have to follow these rules. It's a little like, have you ever done like a juice cleanse or no?
No.
Because that joke was true. I did like the first day I paid all this money to do it, and then the first day I'm just like, life's too short. What am I doing to myself? This is stupid.
Yeah.
It was like 5 hours in. I'm like, I'm not drinking beet juice. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I live in America.
Yeah. I know. I have to say, though, there's, again, everyone has their own chemistry set. But I went pretty lightly through the holidays, through December, and normally in January I'm like, wow, I really got to work out and get rid of those 20 pounds I gained since Thanksgiving, and I'm lighter than I was at the beginning of the holiday season.
Oh, that's good.
And it does feel good. It feels like, yeah, this is good, and without like real major sacrifice. I was drinking wine last night, and I don't know. It's all moderation.
Well, maybe the wine keeps you from eating, so that's good.
Yeah, because you're so drunk you can't find your way into the kitchen. My wife wants we had this thing where we were going for the holidays. We weren't going to give each other gifts or of any real size.
A present cleanse?
A present cleanse. And we were going to buy a piece of exercise equipment. That was going to be our gift to each other. And, because they have a price tag on those things. And my wife went crazy and ran up her credit card anyway. So we're kind of in this weird spot. Like, we weren't going to be spending all this money. That's why we were going to get the exercise equipment and then spent all the money.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, well, it hasn't taken away the need for exercise equipment, but we're just not too sure when to do it now.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you went and got the Peloton thing.
Well, it is what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
I got the Peloton. I started researching the Peloton. That seems like a fun thing. It seems like a cool piece of equipment for the house.
Yeah.
We had a bike before. It's old. It's 15 years old now.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of beaten up and looks so like lame compared to the to the Peloton. So
Does it have the two handles on it, and you go?
No, it was a legit spin bike
with the fan. The wheel is a fan. Remember that one?
Yeah. So I just go on the internet and start looking at the Peloton. Now, of course, I cannot open a single website without ads coming up
everywhere
for the Peloton. Yeah, I wanted to check on the politics headlines, so I opened Slate. Boom. Try the Peloton bike. What's after your finish line?
Was it one company, or is it everybody sells it?
No, it's just the Peloton company. You can go directly to their website.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think I got to go to work and buy a Peloton, I think.
Yeah.
It'd be good. The kids, it's something that now the whole family can use. Right. And even if you get like just a year or two out of it before everyone gets bored and starts hanging their jackets on it, it's probably worth it.
I have a feeling that, let's see. I wonder if you'll use it.
I used to use the spin bike. It was so cute. When my kids were little, I would be on the spin bike in my other place. And I would really work up a sweat. And by the end, I'd yell out, "Lena, I need a towel." And this little tiny 4-year-old would come, run to the closet, grab a towel, come running and give it to me at the end of the workout. So cute. That's not going to happen these days.
I'm just wondering if I'm going to come to do the podcast and you're going to be in full Lance Armstrong gear.
I still have it.
Pretending that you're
I still have my road bike. I still have my small Lance pants. And I still have the shoes.
Oh man, the shoes.
I still have all of it. It just seems like we talked about this before. I take a bicycle out on these roads. It's seems like suicide to me.
Well,
I go running on these roads, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm going the opposite way of the traffic. I can see them coming. I can jump into the bushes if I have to. Mm-hmm. To get on a bike and I don't know. I don't see it happening. But anyway, I still have all the old equipment and and the cool shirts and stuff. And I mostly did it in New York. I used to do it with Seinfeld.
Yeah.
The two of us would go all over the place and go through Central Park, and we'd go over the George Washington Bridge together. And we did that once. And so we were into it for a couple of years. And I still have all of the shirts, which now, as I'm actually saying it out loud, they are 15 years old, these shirts.
Oh, man.
But they're still in good shape because...
well, that technology has to have changed.
Bikes?
No, those shirts.
Those haven't changed at all.
They were probably those rubber...
Well, in France, they were like
whatever.
sweaters.
Oh, yeah?
Like in the old days. Yeah, I have a picture in my garage of guys in sweaters sharing wine in the Tour de France.
Yeah. But that...
What is Lance Armstrong doing now?
He's doing a podcast, I think.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's doing some kind of something with Lance or something like that. I think Bill Burr did it once.
Really? So he's not... Well, of course he's not competing. Is he part of his charity anymore? Is that gone?
I don't know what exactly happened with all that. If it
he was making so much
dissolved
money.
Or...
I guess that's one of the upsetting parts of all of that.
Well, it's too bad because, that's the whole thing is it did do all this good. Yeah. And I think that's what kept him from kind of exposing the whole thing because he was worried about that. It wasn't like he was keeping the money. It was going to all these charities.
Right.
And he was the figurehead, and he knew that...
And they made billions of dollars.
Yeah. So,
weird.
Yeah, I watched something on that a while ago, but I don't know exactly. He did his first interview where he, admitted that he did all that stuff. I forget. It wasn't The Armstrong Lie. That's the book, I think. But,
what other fallen celebrity would you enjoy listening to in a podcast form? The OJ podcast.
OJ didn't who's the guy the Nixon guy that ended up being a radio host?
G. Gordon Liddy?
Yeah. You can do that.
America, baby.
You got to be involved in some kind of scandal.
Again, as long as you have the energy, you can make all this stuff happen.
I was going to say this.
Here on Breaking Bread.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Here on Breaking Bread. I'm just trying it out.
That's our new tagline?
Yeah. So last night I had olive bread with a fine red wine, and it got me thinking about how many people are on the planet all looking for something to eat at the same time. And it makes you wonder, how are we possibly supposed to feed all these people without completely ruining the planet? In order for you to get $1 taco, you really got to do some bad stuff to cows and the rivers
right.
and the land. But you do have 7 billion people looking for something to eat at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's... I don't know if you've driven around L.A. much because you go to all these fancy places, Tom, but there's a there's a bridge not far from Largo,
right?
That basically there was a few homeless people there, and then people started buying them tents, and now it's turned into an entire tent
village.
Homeless people.
Every city that's in.
I think L.A. is in particular has a really tough time with it because all those hospitals closed. The mental hospitals closed and the people didn't have anywhere to go.
Jeez,
so
Louise.
If you go downtown, there's a big it's almost like a tent city.
Yeah.
And it's the people don't want to be rounded up. They have their own little community, but you can't just have
Yeah, just people sleeping on the street.
Yeah.
You know where else they are? The supermarket past 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just using the bathroom and stuff?
My daughter's like, come on, we got to go. They're not really homeless, but it looks like Shaun of the Dead in there. First of all, here in LA, the whole place smells like weed.
Right.
No one with a family is really grocery shopping at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It's people that are high that want to make pizza.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing about LA from moving from New York is the whole place closes at 10.
Yeah.
Like, you think LA is everyone's up late. It's like, no, bars close at 1.
Yeah.
Everything, restaurants close. Everything closes by 10 at least.
Yeah, when I go out to do shows at 9 o'clock at night, I ride through my neighborhood. I'm the only one awake.
Yeah.
Everybody else is watching shows and going to sleep. So you go into the supermarket, it really looked like we'd watched Shaun of the Dead the night before. It looked like Shaun of the Dead. Everyone's stoned. Everyone's just like walking in pairs through the things. Some people are making out in the chip aisle. Everybody. It really is. It was the spookiest thing. I was like, told my daughter, I don't want you shopping after this certain hour. Then you got to walk through the parking structure to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole place, it smelled like a Bob Marley concert.
Well, that's why the one they call Rock and Roll Ralph's, that's the one that's like just everyone that's partying or used to be in a band.
Which is that one? Which is
the one on, I think it's on Sunset.
Oh, really? On the other side?
Yeah, that's it's Rock and Roll Ralph's. That's what they call it. Yours is pretty. There's one here.
Yeah,
I think it's the one you're talking about. That's the one I saw. Henry Rollins like working on his thing.
Oh, right.
There's like a Starbucks.
Yeah,
and people are outside. And it was like, I just saw this like gray-haired guy with like his transitional lenses on. I'm like, that's not Henry Rollins at a Starbucks.
That's right.
Come on, man.
What's happened to us? Yeah, man. It is. It was a spooky place going into that supermarket. I was like, we just need eggs because we're wanting to make cookies. And now I'm taking my life in my hand. And there's a bunch of creepos in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 7-Eleven on steroids.
Well, that's what I was going to say is 7-Eleven is probably the,
the spookiest?
Well, it's just kind of like a known thing. It's like homeless people just hang there because it's open all night, and people are always just buying stuff and have change. So they just ask for change or ask for free stuff. A hot dog's $1. So it's like they just ask for for $1.
Yeah.
It's probably a better thing than hanging out in front of Musso and Frank's.
And look, Jesus would want to help these people and wouldn't see them as lesser than, wouldn't see them as, inferior people.
Yeah.
They would just see them as people that, for whatever reason, are in need.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean I got to send my daughter into the middle of it to go get cookie dough at 10 o'clock at night.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is like when it kind of like, okay, we want to have this facility here for people who need it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been in that position where it's like, I need a place to go to the bathroom, and it's like impossible to find some place. Remember, like New York City? It's like I have money, and I just need to go to the bathroom somewhere. Am I going to have to buy dinner just to get in somewhere? So I can imagine how it is for like a homeless person or somebody that's, know.
Oh, my God, I know. Oh, yeah.
Not looking as clean cut as me. But
they're also in that position. They're not really, able to make the decisions that you and I need to make.
Right.
So who's going to win the Super Bowl before we get out of here? That's our next holiday is going to be the Super Bowl.
Right.
When is the Super Bowl this year?
Usually like February 6th or something. It's got to be
February 3rd?
Yeah, that first week.
First week, February 3rd? Let me look it up. Because that's the next big thing.
Because you did see the kick, right? Did that
February 3rd
spark anything for your script that you're...
Oh, the Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, that was brutal.
But the guy ended up blocking it. Somebody got a hand on the second one.
Oh, they did get a hand on it?
Yeah.
The final one?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it wasn't all his fault.
But it went all the way up and hit the upright.
Well, kind of like, it came over, but he said, like, he just hit that. I mean, that's one thing I really do hate about football is that they allow that timeout thing at the last second.
Right before the kick.
And it's just so stupid. And most kickers don't even do that, though. Some do it just to measure the kick or see the wind or something.
Yeah.
But if you're kicking like a 50-yard one, a lot of guys won't even try it.
Yeah.
2 in a row.
I was surprised that he let it go, that he kicked the first one.
Yeah, I think he wanted to see it, and that's what he said is he goes, I struck it as hard as I hit the first one. And all the replays, like everyone just thought he guffed it, but then on the replay they show the guy got a hand on it, so it's kind of the line's fault. You know what I mean?
Ay.
So Chicago is not known for its easiness on players who don't perform.
No, yeah, exactly.
Or fans for that matter.
Yeah, that guy's going to be run out of town. So is it going to be the Patriots that are going to win the Super Bowl again?
I don't know. Is Philadelphia on this crazy run again?
Yeah, maybe.
We have the Chargers. We've got
Rams.
The Rams. Yeah, it's I don't know if I have a favorite really.
What are the Rams NFC?
They are, I think so. Yeah, when they moved to St. Louis, they were.
So it could be Rams. Patriots.
Patriots. Yeah.
Yeah, NFC West. Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, Cardinals.
Or Rams, Philly. I don't know what's the other team in the
West?
No, not Carolina. Is there another team? It's not. Oh, Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
They're good. That's the rookie quarterback, Mahomes. He's like taking them.
He's pretty talented,
I think that's what it is. The Eagles, Kansas City, right? I think that might be the next round. That's a big game.
All I'm thinking about is what we're going to eat on the because you'll be done with your poop camera.
Tom, come on.
What?
That's not good for breaking bread.
You're right. It is horrible. That's why we didn't change the name this week. We're not going to change it until everybody's colons are clean. Colts, Chiefs, Chargers, Patriots.
Colts are still in it? Really? I don't think I've heard of them all year.
Yeah, they beat the Texans.
Yeah,
Colts, Chiefs, Chargers, Patriots, and then Eagles, Saints, Cowboys, Rams.
Oh, Saints, yeah. I might be rooting for the Saints. I like Drew Brees.
Yeah, but their stadium's so boring.
Boring?
I think we got to root for L.A. L.A. to beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, definitely.
And then L.A. to beat the Eagles or the Saints. And then the Patriots are going to beat the Chargers. Then the Patriots are going to probably beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs might beat the Patriots. That'll be a good game.
How are you doing in your league?
My league's done. It's over because the regular season's over. I did very poorly. But the last week, I had a chance. I was in the top 3. I had a chance to win my money back.
Yeah.
Break even for the season, even though I had a horrible season. Hardly watched any football. It was always because the Giants suck.
Yeah.
So it's been really tough. It's kind of kicked me out.
Yeah, you lose track of football season.
You totally do.
Your team's out
when
of it.
your team stinks. So I wasn't really paying that much attention. So I came within like one game, and I got knocked below the money. So I wasn't able to make it.
No Peloton bike.
Nope. Damn it. All right, guys. Well, here we are. It's the new year. We're all moving along. Everybody's doing great. You're doing great. Do what you can. Your chemistry set. Don't do what everyone else tells you you're supposed to do. You figure it out for yourself. You know what makes you feel good. Don't lie to yourself. Get a scale. Stand on it. And if you feel like a fatso, then do something about it. If you feel happy and you feel like bigger pants are the answer, go for that. We're not going to tell you what to do. We will tell you that you should have bread as part of your life.
That's
made
right.
from real grains. None of this supermarket crap that's going to make you sick and filled with chemicals and pesticides. The real stuff, and you'll live a better life. All right, for anybody that's a subscriber to the Patreon account, we'll see you in a couple minutes. For everybody else, we'll see you next week. Enjoy your life.